Assalamu alaikum and welcome to another video on ECG. I am Dr. Wajid Shabir. I have done residency in cardiology and currently working as a registrar cardiology. This is the ECG which we are going to discuss today. As always, this is another interesting case. But before starting the discussion on ECG, I would like you to pause your videos, note down the findings and diagnoses with yourself, and at the end of the discussion, compare your findings with what was discussed in this video. So let's begin the discussion on this ECG. As you know, that first step in interpretation of ECG is finding the rhythm. For rhythm, we look at lead 2 or rhythm strip. As you can see that at the bottom of this ECG, there is a long lead. This long lead is lead 2 or rhythm strip. As you can see that there is an upright and prominent P wave which is being followed by QRS complex. This means that the rhythm in this case is sinus. After the rhythm, the next step is calculation of heart rate. There are multiple methods to calculate heart rate on ECG, but as you know from our previous videos that we use a simpler method in which we look at a QRS complex which lies on broad vertical line, and between this QRS complex and next QRS complex we calculate the large boxes. First large box is calculated as 300, next is 150, then 100, 75, 60, and so on. So the heart rate in this case is 60 beats per minute. The next step in ECG interpretation is finding the axis. For axis, we will see the direction of QRS complex in lead 1 and lead AVF. As you can see in lead 1 that the direction of QRS complex is upwards, while in case of lead AVF the QRS complex is directed downwards. So by applying the rule of thumb, the axis in this case is left axis deviation. So once we are done with axis, if we look at the chest leads, that is lead V1 to V6, in these leads we can see that the duration of QRS complex is prolonged. Normally the QRS complex is less than 3 small squares or 120 milliseconds, but here it is more than 3 small squares. Plus there is deep S wave in lead V1 along with a prominent R wave in lead V6. Whenever you find a QRS complex which is broad or prolonged with deep S wave in lead V1 and prominent R wave in lead V6, you must always consider left bundle branch block in that case. This morphology, that is deep S wave in lead V1 and prominent R wave in lead V6. It is typical for left bundle branch block. Another very important findings which should not be missed on this ECG is that when you look at lead V3 and lead V4, you can see a hump in T wave. In both lead V3 and V4, you can find a hump in T wave. This hump is basically a P wave which is not being conducted. P wave after which is not followed by QRS complex. While the next P wave it is being conducted and it is followed by QRS complex. So rate at which this P wave is coming is about 120 beats per minute. So this is basically a sinus tachycardia at rate of 120 beats per minute with 2 into 1 AV block. The 2 into 1 AV block can be within the AV node or it can be infranodal. To differentiate or to localize 2 into 1 AV block, we generally use IV atropine or exercise tolerance test. But in this case, as there is left bundle branch block accompanying this 2 into 1 AV block, so the likelihood is that that 2 into 1 AV block is located below AV node, and hence the patient would require a permanent pacemaker. To sum up the findings, this is sinus tachycardia with 2 into 1 AV block, there is left axis deviation, and there is left bundle branch block. This is all for today. Hopefully you will like the ECG. If you have not subscribed to this channel, kindly subscribe and stay tuned for more ECGs. Thank you for tuning in and Allah Hafiz till next video.